Hello everyone, it's Fairiekin. And yes, this is a completely different intro than usual. My mini-me doll is currently getting some work done. I need to redo their face and hair, but my sealant is being affected by the cold weather right now, so that video was supposed to be out 2 weeks ago, and I was supposed to be able to use the doll for this intro, but I can't control the weather, so this is happening. Hi. Welcome to my Christmas collaboration with Stitchwit Creations and Dolleemixtures. And the theme of the collab is Steampunk Christmas, which is very exciting. So, Christmas. Steampunk. Steampunk Christmas. My first thought was the Nutcracker Ballet, but turned steampunk. This led to these concepts, which are incredibly unclear, and I don't even know what this is. Eventually, I settled on to a steampunk nutcracker. For further inspiration, I turned to Mad Max Fury Road. This is one of my absolute favorite films on this planet. More specifically, though, I turned to Immortan Joe and his mask and outfit. For the face-up, I have plans to replicate the War Boy's makeup, drawing details from Nux and his features. So let's get started. The doll I will be using for this is the Ghouls Night Out Spectre Vondergeist doll from Monster High. I start by taking off her paint with 100% acetone and a Q-tip. Then, like normal, I cut off her hair, and I took out the hair plugs on the inside of the head off camera, just because I do it in every single video. It gets kind of repetitive, you know? Like you see things over and over, and you're like, damn, I'm tired of this! So now that everything is clean, I start on her face up. I spray it with an initial coat of MSC spray sealant before I begin. Now the War Boys have skeleton-esque war paint and scarring, so I replicate that with black pan pastels. I draw an outline of her eyes with graphite, and then carve out the shape with a kneaded eraser. I chose not to blush her body this time round, even though that's my favorite part. She's part of the apocalypse, so she isn't gonna have a healthy glow. She's gonna be out there eating raw cactus meat and fishing for crabs in the sand, so no body blushing for her. I chose to blush her shoulders and torso with the black too. I go in with a light pink soft pastel on her lips, nose, forehead, and cheeks. I paint in the creases of her eyes with white watercolor. I'm so sorry about my bad camera angles this time round. I've been struggling with my setup for a while. I only have one camera and one tripod, and I'm very grateful to have them, but it's kind of hard to get close-ups with my clunky setup. I'll be adjusting things soon, but for now, this is the best I can do. I paint on blue eyes. Nicholas Hoult has blue eyes, and I think they're quite striking against the white and black. I should mention here that while I was working on this, I got the news that Hugh Capable-Byrnes passed away. He played 2 villains in the Mad Max franchise, and I have so much respect for him. He's such an incredible actor and just a real great human being. So as the process of this doll went on, it became more of a tribute doll in the end. From here, I add values to the eyes, push back and forth the highlights and lowlights to make everything look natural. I add white eyelashes against the black. This almost creates an illusion that you're only able to see the highlight of the lashes. Or that's what I was going for anyway. I'm not really sure if I achieved it or not. With the finishing touches to her paint, I spray a last coat of Mr. Super Clear and move on to glossing her eyes and lips with UV resin. I also add small dots of resin to her face. This was just upon impulse. It serves no purpose other than I think it looks cool. And you know what? That's good enough for me. That is good enough for me. If it makes me happy, I'm gonna do it. This particular doll has molded on gloves, so I try to use that to my advantage. I painted them black and brought out the details with gold paint. Now I begin on her clothes and accessories. I begin on an oxygen tank with foam pieces. I sew them together with very, very thick embroidery thread. I don't know what this thread is for. I found it in my stuff and I'm like, wow, that's some thick thread. And so I used it. And then I paint it brown, and then I dry brush it with black to bring out the cord. Then I form oxygen tanks out of more foam and paint them gold and then glue them to the back. I left a hole in the top of the tanks to attach the tubes later on. For the tubes, I will be reusing those water balloon tubes that fill multiple balloons at the same time. You like fill it up and they all fall off at once, and so I cut off some of the little straws, and as an experiment I melt them a little bit with a flat iron to see if I could shape them, and I'm very pleased with the result, although I got a little bit aggressive. It looks like this will work out perfect though. So before I can attach the straws, I have to make her a mask to put them on. In Mad Max Fury Road, Immortan Joe's mask is fashioned off of a horse skull. I want to take that, but make it Christmas Nutcracker style. Terrifying, deadly apocalypse Nutcracker. I start by heating up some foam, and then molding it to her face. After the foam cools, I cut it to the shape and size that I need it to be. And then with some soft air-dry clay, I sculpt on a teeth, mustache, and a little filter holes for the tubes. After everything dries, I can paint it. I'm attempting to make it look weathered and old as heck. I paint the teeth to look all gross, and the filter portion gold. After I melt the straws in the appropriate direction and painted them silver, I make sure everything fits right. And I did have to melt and adjust them several times so that they would fold over her shoulders. I did make sure that I could just slide the tubes in and out of the filtration part of the mask, because otherwise I'd have to glue them and then she'd be permanently wearing the mask, and I gave her lips, really detailed lips, and I want to take pictures of it, so that I can't do that. I can't do that to myself. How dare I? Now to start her outfit. I drew inspiration from Immortan Joe's costume, of course, and then steampunk outfits as well. I start with a leather jacket. I cut pattern pieces out of this pleather fabric. This will be double lined with some cute Christmas fabric. I construct everything, and man, I'm very proud of this jacket. It fits really well. I really like the way it came out. I'm always really impressed when other artists can make really nice looking leather jackets, and I've always been like, I could never do that, but I did it. I did it. Look at it. I like it. Now for her pants. At first, I was unsure what to do. I looked up a few styles and decided on this. But I ended up making 4 pairs of pants, because at first I wasn't sure about the pattern I was making, if it was gonna fit appropriately, and then I wasn't sure about the fabric I was gonna choose. But eventually, I led myself to the decision that the fabric I used for the lining of the jacket should be what I use for the pants, because this keeps the design more concise, and it's not too much to look at, which is ideal. I don't know why I didn't do this in the first place. Since I hand sew everything, it took me 4 days to make 3 pairs of pants that I didn't even use. I constructed a corset as well, and I used the same pattern from Sazia's top, and then a strip of gold fabric that is fitted to the waist on the sides. As for more accessories, I looked through my bag of assorted doll shoes and plastic weaponry, and found these dank shoes and a belt and a bracelet with birds on it. The bracelet turned out to be pointless because her sleeves cover over it, but you and I know that it's there, so it's a little secret. And then this chain necklace accessory thing, I don't know where it came from. I don't know what doll it's from. I should know, but I don't. This is supposed to replicate the shoulder pauldrons on a nutcracker, but you can't really see it later on, so I'm certainly not an expert on steampunk stuff. But I do know that when you use gears and hardware, it's supposed to do something, to serve a purpose or a function, and you're about to watch me contradict myself and glue a bunch of hardware willy-nilly without any regards to function, because I'm a hypocrite. So these boots have the right look, except for the lightning bolt, so I'm going to glue gears to it. At first I glued them directly to the shoe, but then I caught on to my own stupidity and realized that I should paint them first and then attach the gears so that I wouldn't have to paint around the tiny little gears, you know? I took off the gears and then start painting the shoes. I hit them with brown, black, and gunmetal. The goal here is to make them look heckin' old, but also heckin' cool. I also paint her bracelet and shoulder pauldrons to match. Now that the shoes are painted, I can glue on the gears and clockwork pieces. I gotta say, I always love making shoes because they're small and delicate, and I can add a lot of detail, but these ones are just real cool. My love for shoemaking kind of started with Bayonetta after sculpting those tiny guns and gluing them on those shoes and making them work. So cool. I found a couple old chains and was reminded of Tom Hardy struggling in the sand, so I'm going to accessorize with those as well. I tried the larger chain as a belt, but that didn't fit right and it looked kind of weird, so I'll do something else. I put the gold chains on the corset, which I tied to the back, and made almost a halter top out of the corset. It's not very well done, I'll be honest with you. The corset is not super well made. I painted the plastic belt and then tied the chain to that. Here I'm trying everything on, thinking that I was done, but then I thought, you know, she's a nutcracker after all. She needs a hat. I start with a circle and a strip of foam. I sew those together and then I turn them right side out. I finish the side seam, and then glue lace around the bottom. I also attached some assorted gears to the top. And then put on chains on the front with some extra clockwork bits. And then I sewed on a brim with jump ring details and chains glued to the front of it, and a Christmas wreath. And with this wreath charm, I also found this horn. I don't know why. Does anyone else associate horns with Christmas? Because I do. I don't know if that's just a me thing. I don't know. I tie her hat on, and she's done. This doll was a lot of trial and error. I'm very happy with her. Her name was also a lot of trial and error. I went to a Mad Max name generator. I had a lot of fun with it. I'll leave a link to that in the pinned comments just because it was kind of hilarious. I decided to name her Mecha Capable-Byrnes. Mecha was from the name generator. Capable is the name of my favorite of Immortan Joe's wives. That's a weird sentence to say. And Byrnes, of course, for Hugh K's Byrnes. And here are my collab partners' dolls. Stitchwick Creations doll is so pretty. Her dress and face-up are just... And her ears! Her ears are so cute, I can't even. I love it when artists take the ears off and put it on the side of the head. It's just the cutest. And Dolleemixtures doll is so cool. Her boots are just... And man, Lee's face-ups are always really incredible, but this one is just... It's so cool. The details on it are just... spicy! I like it a lot. It's such an honor to work with such skilled people. Make sure to check out their socials in the description. I'll be listing both of their YouTubes and Instagrams. And be sure to remember that just because this is the holiday season does not mean that you have to be happy 100% of the time. That's an unrealistic expectation that people might pressure you towards. And that's not alright. You don't have to be happy just because it's Christmas. Don't pressure yourself to feel things that you don't! But anyway, happy holidays to you and yours. Thank you for joining me. Bye!